And how about it, folks? We've made it to Wednesday on the hottest show on the streets, number one form for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. We bring you the show from the Magic City of Birmingham. We stream this to you on YouTube. And speaking of the channel, go ahead right now, hit that subscribe button, tap subscribe right now. Get every friend, every family member, diehard Bama fan, casual Bama fan, consumer of Tide football to subscribe, share the show, make this your space, your area for all things Alabama football news. Don't forget to hit the like button. Tap the like button as well. Raise those like levels up. Give us a thumbs up on the show. Try to start this off. 50 likes out the gate here for the show. Daily Super Chat Go, $100. Daily Super Chat Go, $100 right there. All donations welcome. All donations very much so appreciate it. Continue to also hit that little notification bell right there so that way you miss nothing when it comes down to your Alabama football coverage. We got quite a few things to touch into on this evening, and we want you, the Bama Nation, being a part of the show. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358, number on screen right there, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358 to let your voice be made known. Got my man John Ivory in the production studio handling things tonight. And John, we begin here with, new video footage out on the Alabama quarterback battle, quarterback competition, quarterback conversation, if you will. Alabama head coach Nick Saban spoke with Heather Dinich of ESPN, talking about the whole quarterback competition between Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson. He mentioned how, both guys very talented, both guys gifted. However, which one wins the team? Which one takes full command of the offensive system? Which one, puts you in a better opportunity and a better set to get this team to the college football playoff and win a national championship? And so, though you can't base everything off practice footage, you can't base everything on practice video, what this does is it allows us to see some small things that both quarterbacks do well, or that both quarterbacks have improved on and or worked on, and it gives us an opportunity to form a conversation, form a dialogue about, the two quarterbacks, because this spring game coming up here on April 22nd, A-Day in Tuscaloosa, that will be the most watched A-Day game in quite some time, especially when you got two young men neck and neck here in this quarterback conversation here. So we start things off with Jalen Milroe entering his third year in the program, redshirt sophomore out of Katy, Texas. If you're seeing this video here on screen, it just looks like Milroe, his mechanics, they look improved. It looks like he's gotten better. You see him dropping the shoulder, precisely. You see him, the eyes, the footwork, the arm, it's all in sync together. You see him putting the ball on time and on target to these wide receivers. Now, once again, you cannot base every single detail off of a practice clip. You can't base every single detail off practice footage, but what we can see here is it looks like he's gotten some improvement. It looks like he's gotten some coaching. It looks like the mechanics are being cleaned up in terms of him working with maybe a private quarterback coach to put these things here in order. So that's Jalen Milroe. When I look at Ty Simpson here on screen, when you look at him, tight spiral. Ball comes out quick, very tight spiral. You see it's on time, on target to the receivers, whether it's Jermaine Burton right there or whomever he's throwing the ball to. If you see on screen there, that looks like Isaiah Bond catching a pass there from Ty Simpson. So tight spiral. Ball is being placed right where it needs to be at. Very good arm talent here coming from one Ty Simpson. It also looks like he's bulked up a bit also. He's over that 200-pound threshold there, according to RollTide.com, in terms of his weight, and body size there. So we're seeing tight spiral from Ty Simpson, ball being placed in the right spot there from Ty Simpson. You're seeing as he turns the body, body, arm, everything in one motion, getting the ball out there to the receivers on the field. And then from Jalen Milroe, we're seeing improved mechanics, improved motion, improved footwork, a lot of good things here. So once again, when you're just diving in it from the practice footage, you can't base the whole thing off of practice footage, but we can take some things from it and go, okay, I see improvement here, I see growth here, I see aspects of things getting better in these respective areas. When you look at Jalen Milroe, and then when you look at Ty Simpson, you can say, okay, I see tight spiral here, I see good velocity here, I see the ball getting into the hands of the wide receivers in time and on target. But the new footage right here in terms of them out here in practice. And what's going to be intriguing is the first spring scrimmage, I believe, John, is this weekend. So if that first spring scrimmage is this weekend, how will they perform in a game-like setting, in a game-like practice? We all know when Saban brings the players to Bryant-Denny and they turn the lights on, and you got the referees, the officials out there officiating the scrimmage. And in this sense, Coach Saban allows the coaches to take a step back. You know, they're not just all on the players, hands-on with the players. Those scrimmages tell who can play fast, who can play smart. We've given you the system. We've given you some of the plays. We've given you some of the simulated work, if you will. Now we get to see who can run the offense, who can operate the offense, who can go quick, who can go fast, who will handle this and not be overwhelmed, if you will. So spring scrimmages will give us that much important detail. I believe the first one is this upcoming weekend. Gotta check that just to be sure. But what we're seeing here from the new video of practice clips here is that we're getting improved mechanics here from Jalen Milroe. And then we're seeing from Ty Simpson, tight spiral, getting the ball out to these wide receivers here in stride. So as we continue here with spring practice, getting this footage, we'll get more and more into, you know, can one of these two separate from the other one and truly become the starter here for the Crimson Tide. But we go to our first break here on the show. Don't touch that down. We're just getting started. Upon our return, we go to the phone lines. We grab your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. We get into a dialogue with you, the Bama fans, right after this.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, in my own words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, people, we are back in here, rocking and rolling to the action from the break on a Wednesday, hump day, hottest show on the streets, talking Bama football news in my own words. Yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Continue hitting that subscribe button. Tap subscribe right there. Hit that like button. Give us that thumbs up, raising those like levels up for us right there. Trying to get this 50 likes starting out the show. We appreciate all donations from you as well. That daily Super Chat go $100 daily. Super Chat go $100 right there. Greatly appreciate you guys. We're in to get your calls now. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang. 205-448-1358. Number to call in to let your voice be made known on the show. 205-448-1358. One more time, 205-448-1358, as you guys are preparing yourselves to call into the show and get your thoughts in here. Alabama, second week of spring practice. There's just so many things to look at, discuss, talk about where positional battles are concerned, who could win out, who could take a spot, who can be a contributor out there on the field. And just for me, starting this off, just looking at the offensive line, I know I talked about this on Monday. I think the biggest positional battle when you look at the offensive line is going to be at that left guard position between the veteran Darian Dalcourt and the true freshman Caden Proctor. And Caden Proctor's a big man at 6'7", 354 pounds. John, you and I saw him at Pro Day. That's a big dude. Alabama flipped him from Iowa in the 2023 or this recent signing cycle here as a 5-star offensive tackle. So, Darian Dalcourt has experience. We all have seen at times Saban has gone with the experienced guy first to see, can he hold off the talented freshman? Can he hold off a talented newcomer? If he can hold off a talented newcomer, then hey, the veteran guy gets that job. If he cannot hold off a talented newcomer, then we have seen the freshman or the fresh face, if you will, take that position. So keep your eyes there on that left guard spot between Darian Dalcourt and Caden Proctor. Could be something very interesting to watch there. That's just on the defensive line. That's just on the offensive line. When I look at just the defensive line, with Justin Aboigbe being back, and we all know what Jaheim Oatis is, who's the other defensive end opposite of Aboigbe? That's my question. Damon Payne could do it. Tim Smith can do it. Jamil Burrows can do it. Jamarian Latham can do it. But who's the other defensive end opposite Justin Aboigbe? That's the big question there. You got several guys in that rotation that can play that spot, but who emerges as they got to do it? Obviously, you look at the inside linebacker position, who takes over for the departed Henry To'o and Jalen Moody. Who takes over? A lot of people like Kendrick Blackshire. I like him myself. Is it his time? He gets a chance to show that it is this spring or throughout spring practice. You got Jahad Campbell. You got Sean Murphy. You have Tresman Marshall. You got Justin Jefferson, 2 transfers. You've got Ian Jackson in here. You got Quay Russaw, a freshman. So who takes over those 2 inside linebacker positions? One may end up being Deontay Lawson in the fall, seeing how he played quite a bit this past year, though Lawson out this spring, according to Coach Saban, and this was due to him recovering from surgery. He and Dallas Turner both out this spring recovering from surgeries, but just a lot of positional battles that we will continue to keep our eye on throughout spring ball. But we're going to go to a cool call topic here, and this goes to Mac Jones, former Alabama quarterback, 2-time national champion, led the 2020 Alabama team to a national championship, former first-round pick, number 15 overall to the New England Patriots. And after some offensive struggles last season, and a lot of that not on Mac's bill, much of that was you had Matt Patricia, a defensive mind, calling the offensive plays. You just don't do that. Now, Bill Belichick, he has not been committing to Mac Jones in terms of him speaking in front of reporters. He's been non-committal throughout this time. However, Robert Kraft, the owner, has spoken committing to Mac Jones, saying that Mac is his guy. He believes in Mac, very positive about Mac, confident in what Mac can do in terms of the Patriots franchise. Now, there were some conversations about, would the Patriots be involved in the Lamar Jackson sweepstakes? We know Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, and Lamar never really got to that deal right now that Lamar wants to have in terms of his contract. The Ravens did give that non-exclusive franchise tag, which means that if other teams out there want to pay more and bid more to get Jackson, they can do that. And people kind of thought the Patriots would be one of those teams. Unfortunately, Lamar Jackson is not going to go to the Patriots because the Patriots are saying, Robert Kraft saying, we are sticking with Mac Jones. So New England is not jumping out there in the Lamar Jackson sweepstakes, which, Mac Jones, we saw him his rookie year, 2021, set rookie franchise records for New England. We saw him throw for 3,810 passing yards. We saw that. We saw him toss 22 touchdown passes. We saw that. We saw him become a part of the NFL Pro Bowl. We saw that. We saw him take the Patriots. They went 10-7 and made the playoffs. So you just don't go from having a great rookie season to just dropping off the face of the earth. That just doesn't happen unless you have several things that do not go your way. And Mac had several things that did not go his way for New England just this past season. However, the Patriots did get Bill O'Brien, offensive mind, a guy that will coach Mac Jones hard. Mac likes being coached hard. Why do you think he was coached by Nick Saban? So you bring in Bill O'Brien, at that. New England was able to get, some decent weapons this offseason with Juju Smith-Schuster and Mike Gesicki. It still needs a number one option at wide receiver. We will see how the Patriots go about that. But the good news is New England pulls itself out of that Lamar Jackson sweepstakes, sticking to one Mac Jones. But we take our break here, folks. Don't touch that dial. Upon our return, we dive into the incredible transformation that is Jaheim Oatis and why he is set to have or help Kevin Steele have this defense back, rocking and rolling and cracking skulls. We'll get into that after this.
Look at all these great players in Touchdown Alabama magazine. Man, wait till I turn up this year. I'm gonna be on the front cover. But what if Will goes off? Or Joe, DeMarco, Chris, Tim, Christian.
Don't wait. Order now at touchdownalabama.com or call 833-483-2624 today.
Christian.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
And we are back rocking and rolling to the action from the break here on the hottest show on the streets, talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Here, continue to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well as we get you the highest form of information. Trying to get this up to 50 likes here. We're at 55 right now, so we're going to keep pushing this to 100. Continue tapping the like button, hitting the like button right there, making this your show, your spot here to talk Alabama football. We appreciate all that you do right here. All donations welcome and appreciated as well. But we look at now, John, Jaheim Oatis, who had an incredible transformation, just an incredible weight transformation here. And a guy that, when he was being recruited to Alabama, a young man from Mississippi out of Columbia High School, he was over 400 pounds. And of course, we all knew that, had to get that weight down. Of course, when he was being recruited, that was one of the main things. Got to get that weight down, got to get himself into better shape and conditioning, things of that nature. And when he came into Alabama, that was a set goal from Miss Amy Bragg, head nutritionist, among David Ballou, the director of sports performance. Everybody on the coaching staff was getting that weight down there for one Jaheim Oatis. And he was able to get it down to 310 60 pounds, where he did play. He earned himself a spot as a co-starter at that defensive tackle, at that nose tackle position, sharing that with DJ Dale. And we saw him have a big year, as a freshman. We're looking at 29 tackles, a couple of those for loss, had a sack, 6 quarterback hurries. Jaheim Oatis really played, 4 quarterback hurries, Jaheim Oatis played big ball a season ago. Made the All-SEC freshman team. He was able to reset several opposing offensive lines throughout the season, but now Oatis has continued that weight transformation. He has continued that weight go. He is now down, as he spoke to us on Tuesday, he's down to 320 pounds. He's lost nearly 100 pounds, and it is absolutely incredible the work and the determination that this young man has put in. He spoke about how Miss Amy restructured his entire diet. Jaheim had to cut out a lot of the fried stuff. He mentioned one of the things that was tough for him to give up was fried chicken, but he took out the fried chicken, replaced it with a lot of baked chicken, a lot of baked foods, a lot of vegetables. She took out the rice and the bread there from his diet. And if you're watching this on screen, this clip here, Oatis looks good. Slimmed down some, explosiveness, quick get off. He mentioned he moves much faster now than when he was moving in high school. Much faster. He's moving way quicker, right on his feet, explosive, all of these different things that he's doing out here, on the field. And this is big for him. And the reason why this is big here for Oatis and for the entire, Crimson Tide football team is with Oatis controlling kind of the middle of that defensive line, she's going to be able to really not just clog up, taking on a guard and a tackle and allowing the linebackers to fly through and shoot through gaps and make the big plays that we're accustomed to seeing Alabama linebackers do. But Jaheim Oatis will also be able to even create for himself in terms of slipping into the backfield, getting to a quarterback, slipping into the backfield, getting to a running back, those kinds of things, those types of things. And also, I think having him getting this weight down here, she's going to be able to really help out Kevin Steele in getting this Alabama defense back to being that elite, dominant force that we've grown accustomed to seeing it be, with the exception of the last few years or so here. So Oatis talked about it. I mean, the offensive line, the defensive line, these guys are competing every day in practice, getting each other better. Oatis talked about this defense. These guys are out here on the practice field. They are getting after it. So with him at now 320 pounds, he wants to be between 320 and 330. He wants to stay right there at that playing weight. So with him having this transformation, with him looking extremely impressive out here on the field, and with him continuing to have that mindset of learning more of the playbook, trying to become more of a leader here to these young guys, but also learning more about the game himself, I'm looking forward to seeing what Oatis does in this upcoming season here in the fall, dominating out there for Alabama football. I know on Twitter, his Twitter says he's at 285 pounds. That's his Twitter. But with Jaheim speaking to us on Tuesday, we were right there talking to him in player interviews. He said that he's down to 320 pounds. He's at 320 right now, according to him. He wants to be in that 320, 330 range in terms of his playing weight out there on the field. That's coming from one Jaheim Oatis. But we take another break right here on the show. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we return to the phone lines. We grab your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. It's coming. We're going right back to you, the fans, right after this.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Marvin Constant, All-SEC linebacker and 1999 SEC champion. You are listening to In My Own Words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide.
This is Chris Rogers, 2009 national champion. You are listening to the baddest, when I say the baddest, sports show in the state of Alabama. In my own words, yours truly, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Don't touch that dial.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
And we are back in here, folks, to the action from the break here on In My Own Words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine here on a Wednesday hump day. Continue hitting that like button, giving us that thumbs up right there. Tap the like button. We appreciate all of you for what you do here on the show. Also, that daily Super Chat Go, $100 daily. Super Chat Go, $100 right there. We appreciate all of you for the donations and the support that you provide here on the show. But the call segment here is brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. The number to call in, let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. That being the number right there, 205-448-1358. As you guys are continuing to get your thoughts in, call into the show. Well, we got a call right here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? What's going on? State your name and where you calling from.
Am I on?
Yeah, yes, you're on. You're live on the show.
Oh, yeah. Hey, this is Josh from Birmingham. First-time caller. Been listening to you for quite a while now, or started listening to you this year. I really enjoy your show and listen to you on the Bama Standard. The only thing I want to call in and talk about was two things. The first one, I think, from listening to a lot of people talk, I think what gets the quarterback battle somehow has kind of turned into a little bit of a racial thing, which is like, has, in my opinion, nothing to do with it. I think what some people fail to understand, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, is like when Nick Saban chose Tua over Hurts, he chose him because Tua, in my opinion, could go through his progressions. If he didn't see the first or the second or the third or the fourth, like, then he would run. Where Jalen Hurts couldn't do that, in my opinion, because when we got to Auburn and Clemson, they knew it. They're like, hey, we'll stack the box, let's force Jalen to throw, and we saw what happened. We struggled. But Jalen grew from it. I love him. I have nothing. I love that guy. But he grew from it. He knew what his weaknesses were. And from my understanding, when he did say that next year, it was for him to grow. Like he could have, I think, been on the scout team or something, but he chose to be a backup to get the practice, get the reps, to get the mental aspect of it. He went to the Oklahoma Sooners, got better there, and then we see what he's doing in the NFL. Some people will be like, well, you had Jalen Hurts. Well, he wasn't like that when he first came to Alabama. Like, no, he grew. And the same thing with Jalen Monroe. I love Jalen Monroe. Like, if he could go through his progressions and run, that's great. I don't care what color you are. I don't care if you're purple or green. If you can go through your 1, 2, 3, or 4 progressions and then make a decision and run, he will be so dangerous. And we don't know what Ty Simpson can do. A lot of people, I've never seen him play. A lot of people haven't seen him play. The average fan, the guy who doesn't know Alabama football until the first game of the year, they don't know. And so, in my opinion, we don't know if he can go through his progressions. And I think that's what some people fail to understand is it has nothing to do with race or it has nothing to do with, like, when they talk about his throwing, they're talking about his progressions. Can you go through your progressions? Same thing for Ty Simpson. I would say the same thing to him. Can you go through your progressions? And if you can, and you can win the team. And Nick Saban says the same thing every time we have a quarterback battle. The media makes it seem like it's new. I've been following him since way before Saban, but when Saban came, he says the same thing every time there's a quarterback battle. It's the same thing. The media will write an article about it thinking it's something new, but it's not. doesn't change. He doesn't change his topics. The same thing he looks for every single quarterback battle. But those has always been my opinions, because I listened to you on the Bama stand, and I heard what they said one time, like Stephen Brown. It's like, no. It has nothing to do with that, in my opinion. It has to do with going through your progressions. And I hope he learns that. I hope Ty Simpson learns that. I hope the best guy wins the job. But I want to put that out there because I think it gets twisted. I think the narrative gets twisted because we're in the South. Other thing is, I love to hear, I was listening to that offensive lineman talk the other day on his interview, was getting back to being nasty. I always tell people that I miss 2012, like when we had Eddie Lacy and we were going to run, and we could tell you what hole we were going to run, and you couldn't stop us. Like, they could literally come up to the line with DJ Fluker, Barrett Jones, Warmack, and all them. They could literally say, hey, we're going to run right here, and you're going to do nothing about it. And they would. We imposed our will on the other person. I know we won the award in 2020, but we haven't had an offensive lineman since like 2012. Like, that was, in my opinion, one heck of an offensive line. And the last nasty guy who brought that like killer mentality, that like edge, that enforcer, was like Landon Dickerson when he was here. I don't know what he did or how he does it in the meeting rooms or on the offensive line, but when he did come, and I heard, people talk, and it's like he's got this little edge to him, and it was true. Like, there was something about when he was there at Alabama, and we just lost that. So when I hear that's what they want back, that's what I miss. I miss that so much, imposing our will on the next people, on our opponents. And Stephen, like, I love listening to y'all talk about on the Bama Standard too, like hearing y'all talk about the defenses. And I agree 100% with y'all. Like, I hope we get back to how it was like during the golden years, I guess you can call it, compared to now. And I hope Kevin still does bring that back. And I was really encouraged when I heard about what Ha Dix is doing and how he's encouraging and trying to bring that standard back, because that is what's missing on that defensive side of the ball. And the offense needs to do their part too, to keep them off the field so much. We got to do our part. So, hey, that's all I got to say. I appreciate it. I love listening to your show, and you have a good evening, Stephen.
Appreciate Josh calling in there from Birmingham. Starting this off here with the quarterback competition between Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson. The big thing is, number one, which one of these two can just win the team over? That's the one thing Coach Saban always talks about. Which one of these two can win the team over? And then after you win the team over, which one of these two just puts you in the best possible situation to win a championship? If it's Jalen Milroe, hey, it's Jalen Milroe. If it's Ty Simpson, it's Ty Simpson. Whichever one wins this team and puts you in that best possible position where you know when this guy is in the huddle, you're going to win a championship. That's what you want right there. But we're going to take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven. This is Mike from Kentucky, man. How you doing, brother?
Doing good. And yourself?
Man, I'm always doing good, brother. If I was any better, I'd be twins.
You can't beat that.
Now, everybody talks like they want Bama to get back to the way it used to be. Okay, right?
Right.
Is that the narrative you're hearing? That's the narrative I'm hearing.
Basically.
Okay. If we're going to get back that way, I'd rather have a pound you into the ground, grind you into a fine powder running game and an intermediate passing game until they get so desperate they have to bring their safeties up, then send Bond out, over the top. I mean, and I think Milroe's the guy for the job. If you want to sling it all over the yard, you're probably going to want to go with Ty Simpson. I mean, that's the way I look at it. But regardless, the defense has got to get back to the Bama standard of you might convert 25% of your third downs. That's the key. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm pulling for Milroe because I just think he's probably the strongest guy on the team, pound for pound, and one of the fastest. I'm gonna saddle that horse. What do you think, Steven?
I mean, I'm with you, Mike. I'm with you, Mike, on that defense, though. That defense has got to get back to shutting teams down on third down and getting off the field. They got to get back to doing that because Saban has mentioned the last couple of seasons, not being able to get off the field on third down, get to the sideline, rest, bring the punt team in. They've got to get back to when it's third down, finish the play, get off the field.
I was watching a little bit of Pro Day. And that transfer receiver we've got, what's his name? I can't remember it.
Malik Benson.
I'll tell you what, that dude is shifty. He's got some pretty slippery hips, man. If a couple guys drop some passes, I could see him getting in the lineup pretty quick.
I'm going to say this. At Pro Day, and our whole staff at TDA was there, Malik Benson did not drop a ball catching from Bryce Young. He did not drop a single ball.
Man, he runs a lot like that boy from Ohio State. He's just real shifty in the hips. He don't lose no speed when he makes a cut. He looks pretty lethal to me, man. I'm going to get off and let the next caller on. Roll dadgum tide.
Appreciate Mike from Kentucky calling in right there. You definitely want to keep your eyes there on Malik Benson right there. But we take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feeling, state your name, and where you calling from?
Hey, how you doing, Steven? This is Duval from Ellenwood, Georgia.
How we doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Doing a little work. Couple points I want to talk about. I ain't gonna hold you long. Quarterback competition. Whether it's Ty or Jalen, with young quarterbacks, for them to be the best productive quarterback, you need the offensive line, the cohesive unit. Just give them time because the progressions, they're gonna come with time. Them reading defenses and reacting quick. You need to give them time to, make those decisions, make good decisions at that. Ty, I feel like, if you want to use every threat that we have on the offensive field as far as, wide receivers, he might be the better quarterback. But when the defense breaks down and you need, the quarterback to make a decision and make a play with his legs, I feel like Jalen would be the better, option in that regard. But saying this, I just want the offense to flow. I want everybody to, do their job, do their assignments, and do it well. I figure like we'll have a good year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as long as the offense flows, and it starts off with Tommy Reese as the offensive coordinator. If he has a scheme where everything's balanced, you can run the football when you want to run the football. At any moment you want to run the football, and you can still be able to put points on the scoreboard with the passing game. Because I feel like at the end of the day, that's what the Alabama fan base is asking for. You want to be able to pound the football at any given moment you feel like it, but at the same time, you still want to show the nation, hey, I can put points on the board too. So as long as Tommy Reese can have that balance in that system, I think that's what you want.
Yeah, that's definitely what you want. From a defensive aspect, we got to be able to get off blocks this year. We got to be able to, get off the field on third down and hold these offenses to, 200 yards total offense. That's what we're used to. That's the Bama standard. And I hope we can get back to that. I feel like we brought in the right coaches to do just that because they know what Nick Saban wants. A dominant defense is what Nick Saban wants. He's a quarterback. He's a cornerback, by nature. So I feel like we got the right personnel around these young guys, and they'll get that Bama standard. They'll, embody all of that when we see them on defense this year.
I see it myself with having Kevin Steele in here, with bringing Clinton Dix back in the program as a player development guy, with getting Hardin Harper in here as a player personnel guy, with getting the coaches that have the energy, but most importantly, getting experienced guys in here too, like a Kevin Steele, like a Charlie Strong, like a Ken Wisenhunt. You got tough-minded guys who are going to make sure we ain't going to take no nonsense, we ain't going to cut no corners. But then you got young guys here on defense that can add some creative stuff. So the guys are buying into what's being brought in here. But appreciate my man calling in, Duval out of Ellenwood, giving us his thoughts here on the show. We take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feel, and state your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, this is your buddy Noah from Virginia. How are you, my man?
Doing good, Noah, and yourself?
I'm doing all right. I was very mad on Monday, Steve. My buddy passed away, all that.
But Noah, I am definitely sorry to hear that. You got my condolences,
hey,
man.
Can I ask you a question, Steven?
Go ahead.
All right, you was talking to Mike, right?
Yeah,
I agree.
Go ahead.
I say I was agreeing with what Mike said. Jaheim Rome is the strongest one, and when Jaheim Rome get hurt, and I hope Ty Simpson sling that good ball, make a good old touchdown, no interception, and I hope we get that wide receiver you talking about, get him tackle and get the fumble, all that, and we will to the national championship, make a win for James Monroe and Tyler Sims.
Well, Noah,
that's all my questions, Stephen.
Go ahead, Noah. Or when I said with Noah, as long as whoever takes this quarterback job, they protect the football, they get the ball in the hands of the right guys. This offensive line, they play physical, they play ruthless, as J.C. Latham talked about in his presser last week. And if this defense can get back to not thinking as much, but fly around the field, see ball, get ball, attack the play, and this is a team that will and should get back to a national championship. We'll get back to the college football playoff. Win the national championship. Appreciate my man Noah there calling in from Virginia. We take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, yo, this is Ned, man. I'm calling from Texas by way of Montgomery, Alabama. Roll Tide. Hey, I was just calling to say, man, listen, this I don't know about you, but I'm ready for this wide receiver room, man. That's going to be wide open. Also, I'm just excited about the competition between Ty Simpson, man, and the next QB1, Jalen Milroe. Looks very strong. I've been watching the spring practices via YouTube and checking them out. I'm just excited about this season, man, especially with bringing in Reese and bringing in the dog DC like Kevin Steele, man, who was on the championship teams, man, from 2012 with Kirby Smart, man. I'm just real excited about this season, man, because bringing Clayton Dix back in, man, with that dog mentality, man. We just got to get back to that because somewhere along the line, I think we got too passer-friendly, depending on that daggone wide receiver room, which was very, very, very good. The quarterbacking was excellent, but we just have to get back to that dog mentality, man, on both sides of the ball, man, defensively and offensively, man. I kind of had to tip my hat to Georgia this year because they carried that mentality on both sides of the ball, man. I was watching, I think it was last year I was watching them play the semifinal game against Michigan, I believe, man. And the wide receiver were just dogs, man. They had that Julio Jones size, and they was just like bullying those guys off the line, man. So we have to be ready. We have to be vigilant, man. And barring no major injuries, man, we should be back to that natty, man, and putting the fear back in these guys' hearts this year. Thanks for your call, man.
Appreciate Ned calling in there from Texas. I'll say this. Saban had to get the veterans back into the program to reestablish the culture. And Alabama at one point in time was a grind you out, wear you down, beat you up type of team. And I understand the game had changed to more spread offense. The game had changed to more, wide open with wide receivers, more dynamic, accurate passes at quarterback. And Saban saw that, so he knew I had to adjust and adapt with the time. And that did pay off some success there for Saban. That's 2015, national championship, 2017, national championship, 2020, national championship. So it paid off for Saban adjusting to the times. It did. But at the same time, you did lose some of that dogness, some of that physicality, some of that toughness, some of that grind you out type of ball. You did lose some of that. So part of getting some of that back and restoring that is to get the guys and the culture that help bring that mentality in. And having guys like Kevin Steele that help start it. Having guys back like Clinton Dix that help start it. Getting some of these guys back in here that set the trend in motion is a big deal. I stated throughout the offseason to this point, Saban's got tough-minded individuals back around him. And when you surround yourself with tough-minded individuals, you're not going to take no nonsense. You're not going to cut no corners. You're going to get back to where were we at our best, where were we at our most dominant, and you take it from there. So I think that's what Nick Saban is doing right now. But we take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, what's up, Steve? It's Jason from Tennessee.
Jason, what's going on?
Not much, man. Just wanted to talk to you about this young receiver we got that I saw at the pro day, this Malik Benson.
I'm going to say
Man,
this.
I think this dude is going to be a big problem for opposing defenses.
I was there.
He reminds me.
Go ahead, Jason. My bad.
Oh, you're good, man. He reminds me of A.J. Brown with his size. And once he gets the strength and conditioning going, he's only going to get bigger and faster. And I can see major matchup problems with him.
I know, Jason, I will say this. I was at Pro Day, and there's a reason why Coach Saban trusted Malik Benson to be out there catching passes from Bryce Young. There's a reason. This young man has secure hands. I did not see him drop a ball. Ran his routes, got in and out of his cuts, in and out of breaks, got really good speed to him. But what impressed me, Jason, were his hands. Very strong hands. The ball did not hit the ground. And that's what you want from a wide receiver, especially after last year where you had quite a few guys drop the football. And Bryce looked like he was agitated, frustrated. He kept a smile on his face, but you can just kind of tell in the back of his mind, he's like, why are we dropping the ball? So you get a guy in a Malik Benson of whom he does not drop the football, and that's the number one thing you want from a wide receiver. When that ball is in the air and it's going toward you, don't have this ball hit the ground.
Exactly. That was, I think if he was on the team last year, I think we would be talking about a whole different story right now.
Good point.
To be the one. Because that seemed to be the one thing we were missing was that one reliable receiver that Bryce Young could have counted on.
Oh, absolutely. But, Benz was at JUCO of his past year at Hutchinson Community College in Kansas, but he's now in Alabama. He's here. I remember he spoke with our own Justin Smith, the director of scouting and recruiting for Touchdown Alabama, told Justin that, hey, his game, he's got a little Devontae Smith, a little Jamison Williams, a little Henry Ruggs in his game. So my thing is, if this is how he spoke, I want to see all of that come to fruition, but appreciate Jason from Tennessee giving us that call here on the show. We grabbed this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Yeah, this is Randy Kennedy from near Des Moines, Iowa. Been a long-time Bama fan. Get down there about once a year to catch a game. My question is, do you see a correlation between when Scott Cochran left to go to Georgia and when and Pete Golding took over and he kind of took the brunt of the defense the last few years as far as people complaining, but do you think the strength and conditioning coach that we have now is as good as what we had with Scott Cochran? I just wonder if Georgia got better in their toughness because of Cochran, even though he's supposed to be the special teams coordinator for Georgia. I know he's probably still looking at and overseeing the strength and conditioning of Georgia. Do you see a correlation between maybe a little bit of the softness of our defense the last 3 or 4 years and the loss of Cochran? I'll hang up and listen.
Randy, that's a very good thought. And I don't think the loss of Cochran hurt Alabama strictly strength and conditioning. I think the loss of Cochran hurt in terms of pure energy, pure motivation, pure get that mind right, get that mental right. Cochran was just one of those guys where players could come to. If you couldn't come to your position coach, if you couldn't go to Coach Saban, you knew, because Scott Cochran had the keys to the Alabama weight facility, you knew I can always come to Cochran to talk about anything, whether it was football related, class related, life related. It didn't matter what it was. I can go to Cochran for anything because that guy's ear was always going to be open to me, and I trusted him in terms of how the players felt about him. So I don't think it was just pure strength and conditioning that Bama lost with Cochran. When Bama lost with the departure of Cochran, they lost the energy, right? They lost the motivation that Cochran provides, and they lost that mental mind right. Cochran had a way to speak to you where you were running through a brick wall. Like, Cochran had a way to speak to you where before the game, you were just mentally ready to go. If you talk to like former players, they'll tell you before a game, when Cochran got a hold of you before a game and he spoke to you, your mental was right. I mean, your mental was right from the get-go. So I feel like that was more of what Alabama missed when Cochran left, was just the energy, the motivation, just that mental, how he talked to you just to get you right before the game. I don't know who does that for Alabama right now, but when Cochran was doing it, he had that thing set in motion. But appreciate Randy there for that call. Guys, shout out Brian Watson with that $4.99 in the super chats, helping us out here on the show. Showing love. Appreciate that donation they're coming from one Brian Watson. We got a cool call topic here, John, and this is going to one Hugh Freeze, of whom is the new head coach down there on the Plains at Auburn University. Coach Freeze spoke this week about him wanting to beat the crap out of Alabama as Auburn's new head coach. And now, of course, him saying this, you're trying to get the boosters on your side. You're trying to get the alumni on your side. You're trying to get the Auburn family on your side. So what do you expect Hugh Freeze to say? You're going up against Alabama, which is your fierce in-state rival. It's the Iron Bowl. You're trying to get things going in recruiting where your program is concerned. So I wouldn't have expected Hugh Freeze to say anything less. But, we're going to beat the crap out of Alabama. The big thing here is, will that happen on the field next fall? The Iron Bowl will be played at Jordan-Hare in Auburn. That's always intriguing when the Iron Bowl is played over there. But we'll see. We will see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it boils down. But we got Hugh Freeze, not mincing words here, wanting to beat the crap out of Alabama as Auburn's new head football coach. Mr. Freeze, we shall see. But we take our final break here on the show. On Touch That Down. Upon our return, we tidy up loose ends by talking to one Chris Braswell. Is the former 5-star ready to step into stardom for the Crimson Tide? We'll wrap it up with that after this.
I'm Malachi Moore. You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith on Touchdown Alabama YouTube channel.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
And we are back, rocking and rolling in here to the action from the break on a Wednesday, hump day, hottest show on the streets, talking Bama football news. In my own words, George Trillian, Stephen Smith of TDA. We're at 87 likes right now, 13 more from 100 likes. Continue hitting that like button, tapping the like button right there. Give us that thumbs up here on the show. 87 likes away, or 13 likes away from 100. We're at 87 likes here on the show. But, gentlemen, look at now, wrapping this up with one, Chris Braswell, former 5-star outside linebacker, came in the 2020 recruiting class by the way of St. Francis Academy in Baltimore, Maryland. And it's Braswell's time to step into stardom and be one of the impact starters, one of the impact players, impact leaders here for Crimson Tide football. He spoke also on Tuesday along with Jaheim Oatis. And, Braswell talked about it. It's going to be difficult. You don't replace a leader, a personality, a talent like Will Anderson. You don't replace a guy like that. All you can hope to do is step in and do the best that you can do to produce and play big football, play winning football. And for Chris Braswell, with Anderson gone, he's the guy that has to step into that jack rush linebacker position and fulfill that role and play that role. And what's funny here, John, I remember when both Anderson and Braswell both came in that 2020 class, our own Justin Smith, both of these two were rated as 5 stars, but Justin gave Braswell a diamond grade of 1, which meant Braswell immediate contributor and game changer according to the TDA, our own independent recruiting rankings. Now, Braswell at that time was between 215 and 220 pounds as a freshman coming in. So he did not have the SEC weight to sustain at the point of attack and fend off the guards and tackles of the Southeastern Conference. So he had to get that weight. That's the reason why we saw Will Anderson come in, explode onto the scene as he did, and take over college football over the last 3 years. So after waiting behind Anderson, now Braswell at 255 pounds, biggest linebacker in the room, now he can seize the moment. Now he can seize the opportunity of being out there on the field, being an impact guy, being an impactful playmaker, again to the quarterback, creating those stops in the backfield, making those huge clutch plays. Because if Braswell can do this, he can set himself up to be a potential first-round pick in the 2024 NFL draft. Of course, that has to be one of his goals there in the linebacker perspective. Now, he also talked about how a lot of the young guys in the room at that spot, they're growing, they're getting the playbook, they're learning, they're trying to get that development intact. And by the young guys, I'm referring to the likes of Keon Keeley, the likes of Jeremiah Alexander, those guys really getting in those ropes there. And even some of the older guys, Quindarius Robinson getting stronger there, Keanu Colt getting stronger there. So these guys in that outside linebacker room, which has a ton of depth to it, with Dallas Turner just recovering here from a surgery that he had. This is a big opportunity for those guys to grow, and it all starts with Chris Braswell stepping into this leadership role, being the older guy, being the veteran in the room, his shot to step into stardom. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does, not just throughout spring practice, but fall camp and the upcoming season, because he's got big potential written all over him. Looking forward to seeing him reach that out there on the field. But as always, Bama fans, you want the best in news, notes, information, entertainment here on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you just so happen to have the Android phone for your audio needs. You check us out right here, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered right there. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll try to be back on Friday, continuing the conversation that is Bama football. Remember, fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have that sent to your door. That link will be found in the description. If you're trying to get your hands on the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine, you go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member and or a subscriber today. That link in the description as well. Gotta shout out the man Don Parker with that $5 donation in the super chats. Appreciate that love there coming from one Don Parker. And shout out all of you, the Bama fans, for all the calls, all the super chats, all the conversation. You guys making this your show to talk Alabama football. We definitely appreciate you guys and all that you do. Gotta shout out my man John Ivory in the production studio, holding things down behind the scenes. Until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored there. Be sure to get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself, you protect the loved ones around you. Till next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.